What's going to happen in the Toronto housing market? Are we looking at a crash? Hey friends, that's a great question. I'm Paul Haley, Toronto realtor, investor, speaker, and educator, and I would love to help you think about that. The April numbers will be out in a couple of weeks, but Urban Nation just released some interesting data on condo rentals. Now you're probably thinking, who cares about condo rentals? Well, since 90% of purpose-built rentals were built before 1980, what's happened is condos have filled the gap in the rental market. They're fully 2/3 of the rental market, which means they are the rental market. So it sheds some very interesting light on what's happening in real estate. And I want to say 90% of tenants paid their April rent in the city of Toronto. And I think it's amazing that tenants and landlords are getting together like humans, trying to help each other through this crisis. So now to the numbers. So in Q1, the total number of leases year over year was up 16%, and rents were up 2%. But the pre and post-COVID periods were very different. So pre-COVID, before March 15th, we'll call it, rents were up, leases were up 25%, and post they were actually down 25%, or 39% if we compare year over year. And rents in that period were down 0.7% year over year. So they've actually gone down a little bit, mainly because folks aren't out there looking to rent right now. They don't want to change their living situation when we are on lockdown. And so what's happening on the supply side? So interestingly, supply only came down in that period 7%. And that's primarily due to there were new condo listings that came online, new construction that came online, and a lot of short-term rentals. That market has totally crashed, 95% down. A lot of those have shifted to the long-term market. So we're actually seeing this influx of rental supply right now, which is making for a very interesting situation. And purpose-built rental vacancies are actually up to 1.1%. And we've seen a record number of purpose-built rentals being built, which is not actually that surprising because developers who are very bullish on the real estate market, they want to participate in the market. They want to hold these buildings so that they get the long-term gains. And new legislation means that they can basically charge as much rent as they want. They can raise the rent every year, right? So what does that all mean? So the long-term story hasn't really changed. Demand is going to remain high probably if you believe people are going to want to move to, work in, live in the city of Toronto. And supply is not going to be able to keep up in the long term, right? And in the short term, that's where it really gets interesting. Now, the thing you need to know is anyone telling you what they think is going to happen in the market, they're full of nobody really knows. But I do have a prediction. My prediction is this. I think that condo prices and freehold prices, so houses, are going to once again separate, right? The gap is going to grow between the two. Primarily because the supply of condominiums is going to increase for sale. A, through new construction, B, through landlords who are going to want to sell the properties because they're not making the returns that they have been, either on short-term or long-term. And people in that market may be more affected by the short-term job loss, so the demand might go down. Now, on the housing side, supply is basically flat, right? We're not building any more houses in the city of Toronto. So that coupled with interest rates are going to go down, so wealth is going to jump into that market, right? And the folks buying those are probably less affected by the short-term layoff. So I think that market is going to be more stable. We don't really know if it's going to come down much or what, but I think it'll be more stable. And listen, I've been involved in bidding wars as of yesterday, so there's still lots of demand and not lots of supply. The market as a whole is down, 70%, and volume of prices aren't really down for now. So what does this all mean? Great question. So in the short term, like I said, nobody actually knows what's happened, but there will be, I think there will be a buying opportunity. So be prepared. The only problem is it could be now, it could be soon. You won't actually know where the bottom of the market was until you look backwards. So, you know, you kind of have to jump in. So what that means is you need to get ready, talk to your realtor, me, talk to your mortgage professional. If you don't have one, I can connect you. And get ready, get a pre-approval, get ready to buy in this market. So if you thought this video was informative, please hit the subscribe button. I will be making more. And if you like it, and comment below so I know that this is the kind of content that you would like to see more of. And if you have any questions, please send me an email. I would love to talk about my favorite subject, real estate.